Today on This Is My Copilot, Brian Allen, NFL Super Bowl champion.
My life is in your hands right now.
This is the only time I'd want to be hanging out with the center because I have control.
That's true. You got me stuck up here, so nowhere to run.
So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the light. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher.
Dryden, I want to be your co-pilot.
No. All right, you can be my co-pilot.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the light. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting high.
2 Super Bowls, 1 champion, and the other he lost Tom Brady. Just like a lot of people out there.
Yeah, don't want to see him in February.
No, sir. All right, you are on the field. Clock's ticking down. 3, 2, 1. What's in your mind? Who do you want to see?
Again, right now I'm speechless thinking about it. You know, it's a culmination of so many things. You know, every guy on that team dreamed about being something, dreamed about getting to this level and, you know, playing competitive sports. And, you know, it was really that for me. You know, you're in this moment and you don't know what to think. And there's kind of a, 2-3 second pause where everyone's looking at each other like, we allowed to celebrate? Like this is real. And so, it's cool to see that for a whole team.
Yeah.
My family's in town, Matthew Stafford's family's in town, Rob Havenstein's family's in town, and it just means so much to so many people. I'm an offensive lineman, so in the scheme of celebrity, I know where I stand. I'm a short, fat white guy, and 55 Rams jerseys weren't selling, when I was there. So, but you see these big celebrities, and they have the same emotions as you. And there's just been such an investment from everybody, since we were little kids to get us to that point, and it happened. And
how special, man!
It doesn't get to happen for everybody. So,
congratulations on it happening.
I appreciate it.
It's awesome. Hey, I was just thinking, when I was younger, I used to sit with my arms crossed like that and try to make my biceps look big. And I was just looking at you do that. Like, come on, cross your arms.
So this isn't a make my biceps look big thing. This is a get my arms off my chest thing.
I've never had both those problems.
I need a little space in there, so I put my hands here just so I'm not having my shoulder muscles resting all day together. So
let's put our guns up.
If I start sweating, it gets me a little oxygen in there. So little natural AC.
I've just learned that I will never be in the NFL.
Hey, we got kickers.
We have a veteran right here. What advice would you give to up-and-coming NFL players?
I would just say, if you're passionate about it and it's something you truly want to do, stay committed to that goal. And every guy in the NFL at one point was a delusional little kid who someone said you should have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And most of the guys who made it there were the kid who just tuned out the adults and said, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep getting better. Keep working on this. And you stay at it, and you just focus on what you want to get better at. And like anything, hard work pays off, and you put your attention to it, and you get better. And that's really what I did. I'm not anything special.
You are 300 pounds. That's special.
300-pound offensive lineman, but I'm just a kid from right outside Chicago and love football. Played with my friends in the backyard and stuck to it. So
start in the backyard, become 300 pounds, and you can become a center.
Yep. So drink your milk.
Whole milk?
Whole milk, raw milk, all the stuff they tell you to stay away from.
Okay, Brian, talk to me about leadership. Good times, bad times.
Yeah, I think that's a really important component. You look at the teams that win the Super Bowl every year, like that organization has, everything checked in their boxes.
Yeah.
Like leadership, guys doing the right things, caring about the right things, players bought in, and that's all 53. It's the trainers, it's the coaches, and if you don't have that, doing the right things and being about the right things, like that's where you see teams fall. And you look at the bottom teams, and it's usually those things creeping in, and not really football stuff, but stuff off the field that just isn't relevant to what's going on. And if you don't have that, bad things creep in.
What's a misconception that people often think about the NFL or the NFL player? What do you want to clear up?
I'd say there's a big misconception of how glamorous the NFL life is. For some people, the guys who play 10 years and play attractive positions, it looks like you'd think. But for a practice squad guy, for a guy who's on a team 1 year, on a new team the next year, 6 weeks here, 6 weeks there. You know, there's a big spectrum again of just what it looks like. And for a lot of guys, probably the majority of the guys, it's not for long. You know, the NFL, everyone says that obviously, but you're getting your dreams crushed week after week, and you're getting fired, you're getting told you're not good enough. It's just...
So the NFL needs to bring everything closer together and pay, or keep it spread out?
You know, I'd say maybe think about capping the quarterbacks, just because, you know, that the salary cap goes up and it all goes there. But, you know, at the end of the day, the guys who play are the guys who, you know, deserve the money. The guys who are out there on Sundays earning it with the unique skill levels. But, you know, there's a place for everybody. There's an opportunity to start there to, you know, hopefully get onto a roster, you know, get some attention, make a splash somewhere. So, you know, everyone, you know, has their starting point and their own unique journey. But, you know, there is a difference of being a first-round draft pick and getting all the reps, and being an undrafted guy playing the same position and thinking you're better. So
yeah, like $100 million.
Yeah. So I mean, look at Brock Purdy. If he was drafted in the first round, he would have been playing a lot sooner than he was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he started. He might be a bad example. Start week 1, but you know, there's guys like that all the time who make X and they're playing because someone screwed up and they're paying them.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on the roster who's better, but I invested in this stock, so I'm not going to sell it high.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that goes on that people don't think about, but again, part of the business, part of something we're used to, and not always fair or right, but it's real, and
that's what it is.
Something you kind of got to get used to.
Yep. I'm excited for this question. You moved from Chicago to California. What's the difference?
I didn't know what to expect going out there. I'm from the Midwest, never really left, and in California I was there for the first time, you know, 6 months before I moved there. So definitely not a crazy culture shock, but I moved out there at 21 alone, and it's, you know, a different world. So just people, I'd say, you know, are definitely a little different, and, you know, interests are different. You know, we have seasons in Chicago, we have winter that no one wants to be around, but just different way of life when you're living 20 minutes from the beach or shoveling 14 inches of snow at 6 a.m. So
how about humans, like the interaction? Are we rude in California? How would you look at us?
There's definitely like a rudeness to some people, but you know, like anywhere, there's bad people and good people. You know, I'd say the pace of life, I'd say Chicago, you feel a little more, you know, underdog, go-getter. You know, we gotta work now and get this done, and the sun's out every day in California, so it's a lot easier to be happier and, you know, be more grateful and, you know, just appreciate, you know, a good day, because they don't come around as often in Chicago. And, you know, you're out there and you feel like you're on vacation for the first month you're out there, and then it's like, all right, this is every day, and, you know, you get used to it.
Get used to it, yeah.
But, you know, I enjoyed my experience out there. I would have never lived out there had, you know, not been the football situation. So it was an awesome time, and glad I got to experience it.
Awesome. You need to pull your head out of football sometimes. What do you do for fun outside of it?
Yeah, you know, I do work out a lot, so that's kind of the starting point of every one of my days. But yeah, you know, I keep it simple. I like to play a little golf, target shoot, and, you know, hang out at the house, make some food, and, you know, kick it with you know, friends, family, and my girlfriend. So
that sounds like an amazing life. Except probably takes you a couple days to recover after getting your butt kicked.
You know, very, very humbling out there. So I keep the wagers small on the golf course right now. So need about a 35 handicap to entertain anything for anybody. So
I'll take that bet.
All right, I saw you at the range yesterday. I think I might be able to sneak in the backside of the 35 number.
What kind of deodorant do you use?
Honestly, whatever's free at the facility. I hope the Rams don't hear this. I still about 30 sticks. So
favorite restaurant?
The Mission in Old Town.
What do you think sexy?
I mean, my girlfriend's the number one on that list, obviously. But you know, I like doing wild stuff, just experiences that are different.
That's sexy. Is this flight sexy?
This is sexy. This qualifies.
Unfortunately, this flight is coming to an end.
I am the co-pilot with Will as my captain. It's been an awesome experience. I appreciate you having me on. This is wasn't planning on being in a plane today.
I was hoping you would come. I'm pumped you're here. We're here, and it's time for us to head back to Phoenix, where it's hot. Adios.
See you guys. Thanks for joining. Supposed to hit this button now?
No.
So welcome to the fight.